Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, inside the StreamYard studios for once again another exciting interview. And of course, today I get a chance to interview one of the ladies who's going to be competing on March 9th over at Paula's Athena's. And of course, they have such a huge card from stack to bottom. If you guys missed out on the interview with myself and Reagan Gowen, you guys can go check that out at the Fighting Now on Instagram. And of course, without further ado, we went from having this interview from Instagram now to YouTube. So help me, without further ado, please help me welcome Miss Amy.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so sorry about the whole Instagram thing. I figured it would work, but of course, Instagram decided to have some different plans for sure. But how you been doing?
Pretty good. Keeping
And of
busy.
course, I say so. Of course, you have a very big year for you. You have a very big fight coming up on March 9th, like we mentioned it with Paul Zathunas. And of course, you have a very big fight coming up on April, I believe, for Rumble in the Cage. Am I correct?
Correct. April 20th. Yes.
April 20th. So you are one busy bee, ain't you?
Trying to be.
And of course, hey, we definitely love and appreciate what you're doing. So let's go ahead and get things started. So we all get inspired by what we do best. Me when it comes to interviewing, and you when it comes to fighting. So what inspired you to start fighting?
I actually started martial arts when I was about 3 years old. My mom and my brother both did Shotokan karate. And so I went along with them to the dojo every night. And as soon as I was old enough to join classes, I was right in there. It was kind of, I guess, love at first sight in a sense. I really enjoyed the martial arts and learning the discipline of it and focusing on technique and all the technical aspects. And then as I got older and exposed to more martial arts and a variety, um, it just opened up the doors from there.
And of course, one thing I really love is that, this sport has practically been in your blood. And of course, it's really awesome to see that you went from fighting whenever you first started to where you are now. It's kind of a crazy experience, ain't it?
Absolutely.
And of course, you train at Canadian Martial Arts Center in, hopefully I said this right, Lethbridge, Alberta?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying not to butcher it, so I apologize if I do said the wrong thing. And of course, Kurt, Coach Lee is your main coach who has helped you out. So talk about how much they've helped you ever since you joined them.
I started with CMC about 4 years ago ish. And I definitely would say I have evolved as not just a fighter, but also as a human. And just, I'm a better person being at CMC. I got the opportunity to start coaching the kids' classes there and just being a part of the community. Coach Lee is phenomenal. He's a legend in MMA. He is a pioneer for MMA in Canada, which is huge.
And of course, not to mention that, and one thing I really love is that you're not only training for yourself, but of course you're training, kids. Do you ever get a chance to just share your love of fighting with these kids?
Absolutely. I work in a school as well, and we do an enrichment program where we get to show what our passions are and explore that with the kids. And so I ran a 6 week program, an hour a week of martial arts with them, which was pretty cool.
I really love that because you not only get a chance to help yourself, but of course you're inspiring so many generations. I really love that about you. It's really awesome. Of course, one thing I can say is that every fighter has the one thing that they love about training, but of course, it's always been the hardest part about training. So, from your perspective, what has been the hardest part about training?
I think the mental game. Fighting, yes, it's physical. Yes, you get banged up, bruised up, everything else. Injuries suck, but they
Yeah.
happen. But more than anything else, it's mental. And so to keep your mind in the right place and to be fueling your body properly and allowing yourself the rest. When you have a fight coming up, it's hard to take rest because you're like, I gotta train, I gotta keep going, I gotta get through this. But at the same time, the rest is just as important in like understanding your mental health and where you're at in life makes a huge difference.
I think it's a rarity the fact that you and so many different fighters who are not afraid to talk about mental health and how much it can affect us on so many different ways. And of course, one thing I gotta ask, as an amateur, you faced a lot. You not only that, but of course you're a mom. You face so many different things while being a fighter. So, what's the one thing that you struggled to face while you've been a part of the sport?
I think going through like the journey of life with my kids has been a big challenge. Both of my kids have disabilities, and so battling their needs and their priorities, and also still like I need martial arts in my life. Otherwise, my own mental health will go downhill. And so finding that balance of like, I need to honor their time and be present for them, but also I need to take care of myself and my mental health so that I can be a good and better mom for them.
And the one thing I really want to get a chance to do is talk and have a conversation with you about mental health. I mean, I don't think people know how much of an impact this sport has made us on a mental part. I mean, and I will open up and say that, from somebody who struggled with depression and anxiety, this sport has practically saved my life because I see women like you. I see women that are going to be part of the big event come up on March 9th. I see women who are doing so many incredible things, who have gone through the deepest of hell to be on the biggest stage. And I gotta get a chance to ask you is that how much has the sport made an impact on you mentally?
It's made a huge impact for me. I also have gone through depression. I have severe anxiety, severe social anxiety. I am not a people person, but getting to coach the kids and being around a team has definitely opened up a lot of doors for me. It's made me a better person. It's made me a little bit more outgoing. Um, so yeah, it's had a huge impact.
And one thing I definitely want to talk about is that for anybody that's watching this live or will watch this once when it gets posted, is that if you're struggling, whether if it's depression, anxiety, have self harm thoughts, whatever it may be, first of all, please go get the help that you need, and second of all, go be a part of the sport. Whether if you want to be an interviewer or a fighter, this sport can help us out in so many ways because. I think at the end of the day, and I think I struggle with this. I don't know if you struggle with this, but being in a room with all those thoughts that's going through your head is not going to help out. If anything, you need to get up and go be a part of something incredible. And if you're not being loved by your own family, trust me when I tell you, you'll be loved by a gym that may not understand you on the physical side of things, but will understand you mentally. And yet you'll feel like you're part of something. You'll feel like they are loved by people that may not know you, but they will understand you so many ways. I mean, am I right here?
Absolutely. Gyms
And
are Yes, you always see those typical gym people, and that's not at all the atmosphere. Like everybody is welcome there. If you show up and you try hard, like they're gonna want you to keep coming back.
one thing I really wanted to say is that, and I've had my fair share of moments where I would literally tear up with women like Sandra Arndt to Britton Hart, is that, it's okay to not be okay. So if you're somebody that struggles and you're somebody that has gone through like the deepest, things that we may not know about, this sport, being a part of this dysfunctional family, meeting people like Amy and so many others can really make an impact on you. And before I get to my next question, I just want to say it's very that's strength that you just shared. I mean, it's a very rarity. It's very rare that fighters or anybody these days show that it's okay to not be okay. And I just want to say I really do admire you for that. It's like it's incredible. It's incredible because like I don't think anybody can see what you ladies have gone through because to me, watching you and watching so many others in the sport, I feel like that women have had the worst end of the stick being a part of fighting. I mean, you've seen how women get treated, but at the end of the day, it's what you girls are doing every single day, whether if you're a mom or not. You get up, you take care of your kids, you take care of yourself, and you go to the cage and you kick so much ass. And I really want to give you and so many women all the love and the love that you girls deserve because it's never easy. I may not know what you go through, but damn it, I mean, at least I can do is say, hey, myself and many others really appreciate you. You there?
Yeah.
You speechless up there? Because I mean, like, I mean, like, you definitely deserve it because, on March 9th, I mean, as somebody who's been a part of the sport for quite some time, we're going to be seeing so many women who have had different stories like you do, who will go in there and will give everything they have. And one thing I can say is that if you see fighters like Amy, if you see any other fighter who's an amateur or pro, say, hey, we appreciate you. We love what you're doing. Kick so much ass and be the warrior that you are today. And Amy, you are a warrior. I hope you know that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I apologize about that. It's like stuff like that really, really hits you. It really hits me, especially from somebody who struggles a lot, especially as of late. And I really feel like that you girls deserve so much love. So thank you for what you're doing. I'm so glad that you're a part of the sport.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And of course, another thing too is that this is your second time going to Paul's Athena. I mean, like we talked about it, in this card we're gonna be seeing live on March 9th. We're gonna be seeing some different styles of fighting from women all over the world. You're gonna be seeing some amateur fights. You're gonna be seeing some pro fights. But most importantly, we're gonna be seeing not only just MMA fights, but we're also gonna be seeing some Muay Thai fights. And I gotta get a chance to ask you is how much does Paul's Athena mean to you?
Um, I think having a platform for females to showcase that, like, we're not irrelevant. Um, Personally, and maybe I'm biased because I am female, but I find the female fights a lot more exciting and entertaining. Like, it's go from the start.
Yeah.
Guys, yeah, they got power, but they also, especially as you get up in the higher weight classes, slow down. They're more thought out about how they're fighting. Girls are scrappy. They're vicious. Like, it's a different mentality for sure.
One thing I will say is that you girls are not afraid to scrap like there's no tomorrow. That's one thing I really admire is like if you watch either if it's an MMA, Muay Thai, or bare knuckle or boxing, you see these girls giving everything they have just to become the best, and I really, really love what you girls are doing. And that brings up to my next question is that, yes, you're an amateur, but the thing is, though, is that one thing that we gotta admire what Paul Zidane is doing is they're giving amateurs a platform to have their light shine. And I gotta get a chance to ask you is how much does it mean to you as an amateur the fact that you and so many other amateurs are going to be part of such a very historic event?
I think it's amazing. It's really hard for me to find fights. Even this fight is a catch weight. It's not actually in my weight class. Being a tiny female, it's hard to find fights. And Pellis Athena, even their first show, I had a fight lined up. Unfortunately, through medicals and everything, last minute fight, we weren't able to get in the cage. We had both showed up, both made weight, but didn't actually get to step in there.
Yeah.
And the second show, they had me on the show again. This one, they got me an opponent. Like, they have a platform for females, and if they don't have an immediate person, they do what they can to find somebody to sign the contract and get you in there.
And one thing I really love is that the fact is that they're going through great lengths just to be able to make this event happen, especially for you and so many other women. And by the way, guys, I don't know if you guys have missed out on the announcement. I don't know if you've seen what they just announced, but we're not only going to be seeing Chuck Liddell signing autographs in Calgary, but Chris Cyborg is returning to this event as well. So I'm really excited about that. I mean, do you feel any nerves or any pressure or anything?
For me, it doesn't change. At the end of the day, I go in there, I do the best that I can do. If I perform to my abilities, I'm happy at the end of the day. It is neat to have like pioneers of the sport showing up. Chris Cyborg, as you mentioned, like, she's a legend in the sport. Felicia Spencer, huge pioneer for Canadian MMA, especially women's MMA. So to get to meet both of them, I met them both at the last show. They'll be there again. It's a neat experience, but it doesn't dictate like how I show up and perform.
I definitely agree. And one thing I really do want to get a chance to ask you, you brought up, the fact that, Canada has had so many incredible events. As a matter of fact, Canada has two back-to-back events. We got one this coming week in Toronto with bare knuckle with I think it's Gabrielle Roman taking on Jade Wong in the bare knuckle fight this coming Saturday. Not to mention that next week you're going to be fighting for Paul FC. How much does it mean to you the fact that we're seeing so many events happening up in Canada and how much the Canadian scene has grown for Canadian fighters?
it's really cool to see like your own country thrive in the sport that you love. So it's really cool. There's some big names coming up there. Shannon Clark just recently fought one of my teammates. Huge statement for the LFA. And we have lots of other people coming up. Sierra Dinwiddie.
Not to mention that, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, how I got a chance to see Shannon Clark was from the promotion that you're getting ready to fight coming up in April, Rumble in the Cage. So, I mean, one thing I love is that you're not afraid to be busy. You got a fight coming up next week, and then, of course, you have Rumble in the Cage. So, how does one prepare for so many different fights coming up in the span of 2 months?
Um, I just show up to the classes I can show up for, have private lessons with Coach Lee, ask a lot of questions, learn and grow as much as I can. I watch a lot of footage to see like what works, what doesn't work, and try and implement that into my game. And the more time on the mats, the better off you're going to be regardless what the fight is. So this fight's Muay Thai. My fight in April is MMA. But just putting the time in the mats.
Now, I think the big question, and I've seen this on your Snapchat, is that is there any possibility we will see you in bare knuckle eventually?
In order to fight bare knuckle, you have to have a pro fight first. So still being amateur, it's not in the immediate future, but I mean, it's definitely something I have said I would
Yeah.
be game for if it happens, for sure.
And I gotta get a chance to ask you. I don't know if you really pay attention to bare knuckle. Do you have anybody that you're gonna be rooting for the big main event Saturday between Gabrielle Roman or Jade Wong?
Honestly, I haven't paid much attention to the fights this weekend. I we have two MMA bare knuckle fights coming up in April on the Rumble in the Cage show. So Coach Lee is fighting and definitely rooting him on. And then we have Tim Tamaki also fighting, who's another teammate, and I'll be cheering for him.
Well, shout out to those guys because I think one thing that's rare to see is that other than what we're seeing with game bred fighting is MMA bare knuckle, like that's crazy. But I've seen Andy Nugent fought. I've seen so many different fighters doing it. It's really crazy, but you never know what you're gonna like for sure. And of course, I think this next question, pretty much gave you a heads up on this. I give you plenty of time to think about it. And are you ready for this one?
Maybe.
All right, so at the end of the day, we all want to be recognized for something that we do in a sport. Me, I just want to be recognized as the one interviewer who may be just cheesy, but of course, get a chance to show love to women like you and so many others. But as a fighter, you want to be recognized for something different. So, what's something you want to be recognized for during your time of fighting?
It's a tough question because I don't really know where this journey is going to take me. Being a single mom of two boys, it's kind of up in the air. I'm still amateur, but I definitely want to be the person that stays true to myself and follows my heart. I have a lot of grit in me. I have a lot of heart in me. My last fight is proof of that. I was in some pretty bad position. She had full mount landing ground and pound. She had a triangle locked in that I thought for sure I was going to sleep. And I fought through and got the win. So my heart and my determination, and I'm not gonna quit.
One thing I really love is that I mean, I don't know if you remember the conversations we have, but yeah, we always talked about making this interview happen, and thanks to Paul FC, we finally got a chance to make it happen. And the one thing I really want to say is that from the first time I got a chance to meet you, I know that there was something incredible about you. I see a lot of heart, a lot of courage, and somebody who's so passionate for the sport. And I really, really do love and admire that. And before I get a chance to finish things off, I gotta get a chance to do this because I'm very cheesy as fuck. But I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
Everybody's worthy.
I mean, get a chance to have a great conversation like this. It's a very worthy thing. So I'm not worthy for sure. It's been such an amazing time because I've been one of your fans since I got a chance to meet you. You've been so down to earth, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart how proud I am of you because it's never easy raising two boys, being a mom and being a fighter. Which, by the way, shout out to all mom fighters out there because I don't know if they get enough love and recognition they deserve like you do. So thank you for what you're doing for women's MMA. Thanks so much for what you're doing up in Canada as far as what you're doing for their scene. I'm very excited for your fight coming up next week, and I think the last one we'll want to get a chance to cover here is: do you have any final thoughts or comments you want to get a chance to say?
I just want to say thank you to everyone who has supported my journey, past, present, future. I have a ton of sponsors in my corner. I have a ton of teammates that, late hours, people will be sitting on the sidelines. I'm like, hey, I need a round. Are you in? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. Let me grab my stuff. Like, the team that I have, the community I have around myself is phenomenal. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to yourself for having me join you for this interview and to get my name out there.
You definitely deserve it for sure. And one thing, you guys, do not forget because she's going to be a part of Paula's Athena WFC live on March 9th on Millions.co. You guys do not want to miss out on such a very exciting night full of women's MMA and Muay Thai fights. And of course, you get ready to fight Rumble in the Cage on April. Hey, best of luck to you. I will definitely see you the link to this so you can share it to your social media page. It's been an honor. I hope you had a great time. And thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I'll let you go. I will definitely send you the link to this once when it gets posted, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, see you, girl.
Bye.
All right, bye. That was Miss Amy, ladies and gentlemen. That was such an amazing interview. And of course, we are officially done with interviews for this week, but hopefully, we may have some more. I think we got an event coming up Sunday with myself and Miss Christy Long. We have our Sunday Fun Day podcast coming up on Sunday. And I cannot wait to get a chance to talk about this interview and so many others. Which, by the way, guys, if you guys have not got a chance to follow myself, I am Jake, so go follow me at the Fighting Now, the home of women's combat sports, and it gets just show some love to so many different women out there. And guys, I've had an amazing time. It's been a very fun one, and I'm glad to get a chance to have the opportunity to give these women a light to shine because it's been so fun, and I'm so excited to see what's next, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys like what you see, make sure you guys go like, comment, and subscribe. We definitely need to try to get up to our subscribe level here and there. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I am Jake representing the Fighting Now saying so long and we'll see you guys next time.